In this video, I'm going to share with you the real reason why most men in their 40s struggle to get rid of body fat, leaving them with zero definition regardless of how much muscle they actually put on. And I personally know how frustrating this can be because this was me. Probably one of the most frustrating things, honestly, I've ever done in my life because I was putting so much time, energy, and effort into it and I wasn't seeing the results. But I don't want to just explain in this video why that's happening. I want you to be able to understand that, but by the time you leave this video, you'll have a clear roadmap how to fix it in a workable solution. There's gonna be 3 points that we go over in this video. So the first one, we're gonna identify the problem. The second thing we're gonna do, we're gonna identify the root problem, which this one is important. And then most importantly, the last thing, we're gonna map out an actual plan that you'll be able to actually use as soon as the video is over. A lot of people's issue is they don't take immediate action. And when you don't take immediate action, you just put it off. I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it on Monday. These are gonna be actionable steps that you can do as soon as this video is over. Let's jump right into it. So there's one main activity that's gonna contribute to 80% of the results that you're gonna get. And that 80%, it's food. It's what you put in your body. I understand this isn't the first time you heard that. Matter of fact, everybody that watches this video, they understand like food is where you're going to get the biggest bang for your buck. Here's the issue with that. Why is it that everybody knows food is where you're gonna get the most bang for your buck, but yet so many people struggle to get results? You're not the only one who's struggling to drop your body fat. And the reason why so many people have a problem with this because they never actually identify our second point, which is the root of the problem. I want you to think about it like this. If there's a tree and the tree's not growing, the tree keeps dying and just not growing like it's supposed to. You don't go polish the bark. You don't go, trim the branches. It's the roots where the problem is. If the roots are no good, the tree is gonna be no good. And that actually comes to the 6 hidden forces that drive everything that we do and really determine what it is that you're eating. And those 6 steps are human biology, environment and culture, emotions and psychology, habits, diet culture, and then belief system. I'm gonna explain all of these in great detail because I really want you to have a thorough understanding of what this is, because this is how you're gonna make the changes in your eating style. I have no doubt you've tried to change your eating style. You understand that's the main issue, but we really have to dive deep into like what's really causing this? Why aren't you able to eat what you need to eat? Why do you keep falling off and having to restart over? So when it comes to human biology, we're hardwired to survive, not thrive. Our body is always looking for fast fuel. Our culture has evolved so fast. Our bodies and how they work, it hasn't been able to keep up with that. Back in the days, food was very scarce. We don't have those same kind of issues. Your body's always looking for like, where can I get fast energy, fast fuel, quick calories that your body can rapidly convert from food into energy. So the second thing is environment and culture. So I want you to think your work environment, your family that you hang around, church members that you hang around, your close friends. These are going to impact what decisions you make when it comes to food and what you eat. These are things people don't think about, and this is how people get sabotaged. Think about the foods you grew up eating. So for me, I grew up in a Polish family, so for us, potatoes was a big thing. We always had potatoes, whether it was a baked potato, mashed potatoes. There was always some sort of potato. I know a lot of cultures, it's rice, it's different things. So it's not just the kinds of food that you eat, it's also the portion sizes that you eat. We're used to overeating. Your parents probably said something to you like, don't get up from the table until you eat everything on your plate. So you develop this thing within your culture where it was considered, disrespectful maybe to get up from the table and you still had food on your plate. So the next thing would be emotion and psychology. Eating just because you're bored. Eating just makes you feel good. Like if you have a hard day, stressful day, you come home, sometimes it just feels good to eat a really, really, really good, wholesome meal. There's something about that. Like you probably remember, your mom's cooking or maybe your grandma's cooking. It gives you that feeling of comfort and security. So that's what I'm talking about when we're talking about emotion and psychology. So the next thing is habits. Now, when we talk to habits, some examples of that would be going to the movies, and every time you go to the movies, you go and you get popcorn. And that's a habit that you develop probably from a very young age where it's just movie theater equals movie theater popcorn. And that's a habit that you do over and over and over, and you've just never checked it. Another thing would be, a lot of guys on the weekends, you like watching sports, maybe you like hanging with your boys, maybe it's just yourself, watching, the NBA, NFL, whatever your thing is. But along with that, maybe you have a couple drinks, maybe you have some wings. But this becomes, again, another habit that you've just done year after year after year that you've never consciously actually thought about the consequences to it. Next thing is diet culture. There's so many different fad diets always popping up, and misinformation. A big thing right now is fasting. I see a lot of people fasting. It's almost like people think fasting is this magic secret that just came about, and this is the way you quickly cut your body fat while at the same time packing on muscle. Here's the reality. There's a lot of different diets and ways you can cut your body fat and put on muscle. And to be honest with you, a lot of them work. Most of them work. Now, most of them have downfalls, but for the most part, a lot of them work. But it's very, very confusing. And a lot of times we start hopping around and we're going from diet to diet, fad to fad, and we're never actually getting results. The last thing is belief system. So when I say belief system, a lot of times I'll see people, or they'll tell me like, man, I've never had abs. So since they've never had abs, they just assume that they never can have abs. And that's just a belief system that you've adopted. There's no truth behind that. Everybody can have abs. Another thing would be, I'll hear people say, I don't want to track my food because I love to eat. I love to eat too. I actually really thoroughly enjoy eating, but what tracking your food does, it allows you to enjoy eating, but it gives you that sense of control. I want to map out an actual plan. I want to give you specifically a very simple 10-minute exercise that works every single time, the Root 6 framework. And I love this framework because it's very simple. It doesn't take long to do. It's just a 10-minute exercise that you can do, and it just really involves just 2 steps to it. So what you're gonna do is, first you're gonna ask yourself, for each of the 6 categories, how does it affect your results? And then you're also gonna ask yourself, what can I do to change that? So let me walk you through some actual examples so you understand what this looks like. This is something that you can implement immediately. So the first of the 6 things we talked about was human biology. So an example of that would be, I understood that whenever I get hungry, that's a terrible time for me to go to the grocery store. Like we talked before, whenever you're hungry, your body's gonna go to an immediate fuel source. I love Lay's plain chips, especially when I'm hungry. A lot of times it's food that I don't even normally eat or wouldn't normally eat, but because I'm so hungry, everything looks good. How does that affect my results? Well, okay, obviously eating Lay's potato chips, that's not gonna get me any closer to dropping my body fat. And what could I do to change that? Well, it's very simple. I don't go to the grocery store when I'm hungry. So again, I go through each example, how is like my human biology, how I'm built up, like what are my tendencies in that area, and then what can I do to change that? The next thing would be environment and culture. I was very big with sports. I was the guy that has Sports Center on every TV in the house. On the weekends, I'd go watch the games with my boys. I loved watching football. How does this affect my results? Well, drinking and eating wings, that's not getting me any closer to dropping my body fat. And then what can I do to change that? What I had to do in this case, I had to detach myself from those situations. I literally just took myself out of those situations because for me, getting results was way more important than hanging out with my boys, drinking a couple beers, eating some wings. Like I really wanted results. When I say I'm gonna do something, I don't like not being able to fulfill on that. I don't like saying I'm gonna do something and not do it. It was more so, I wanted to have that feeling of accomplishment, and that's exactly what you get when you get your results. Next thing would be emotion in psychology. Whenever I get stressed, especially with maybe finances or maybe my relationship with my wife is, I don't know, maybe we're arguing or whatever it is, I tend to get stressed out. I actually start skipping meals. So when it comes to the end of the day, I realize like, wow, I haven't eaten anything today. So then I'll just eat this huge crazy meal. But even more so than that, my tendency would be to go to fast food because I didn't feel like cooking. So I was like, I don't feel like cooking, so I'll just roll through fast food. Obviously, that doesn't help me when it comes to getting my results. And what can I do about that? Well, number one, I had to learn to manage my stress better. So the next one would be habits. I'm an entrepreneur, run my own business, and I have for a long time. And even when I wasn't an entrepreneur and I worked in corporate America, I've always had a really busy schedule and I was always running all over the place. 5 kids, a wife. It keeps you pretty busy. Because of that, I had the habit of skipping breakfast. So I would just run out the house and just immediately just jump into what I had to do. So obviously, again, that doesn't help me with my results. So what did I do? Breakfast became a priority. It became one of those things, it was a non-negotiable. Now, in the morning, I don't like cooking. I just incorporated a protein shake in every single morning. I'm good to go. It tastes good. And most importantly, it's just quick. Next would be diet culture. I was the person who I jumped around a lot. I've been vegan. I've been vegetarian. I've been pescatarian. I've tried so many different diets. They're all fine. You can do whatever works best for you, but I wasn't doing them based on it was something that I wanted to do. I was doing the different diets because I was under the assumption, based on all these different fads that were going on, oh, pescatarian is the way to go. Let me do that. That'll help me cut up, get ripped up. And then next thing is I'm like, no, that's not it. Let me go vegan. That's what it is. And it just didn't work. So I just cut all that out and I just went to the basic, okay, let me get my proteins, my carbs and fats. I made everything simple because I wanted to fall into a lifestyle that it was a lifestyle. It wasn't a fad. It was something that I can do for the long haul, the long run, and I wasn't always bouncing around. So I just adapted a more traditional style of eating, and that's what I do to this day. The last thing is belief system. One of the beliefs that I had when I very first started out was that the gym was hard. And when I say that the gym was hard, I dreaded going because I knew how hard it was gonna be. I associated the gym with I was gonna be sore afterwards. It was the type of hard that I didn't wanna do. What I had to do was shatter those old beliefs and install new beliefs. So for me, I didn't change the gym was hard. I still to this day think, know, and say the gym is hard. But instead of having a belief system that I had before, I understand things that are hard, most men will not do. And I don't want to be like most men. That was never my goal. My goal is to stand out, to separate myself from the pack. I don't want to be average. So my mindset changed from, yeah, you know what? It's going to be hard and most people aren't going to be able to do it. They're going to quit. They're going to give up. They're not even going to show up. So I'm going to become the type of man who loves doing hard things, who actively looks for hard things to do. So the gym, it started exciting me. It started giving me this thrill. It's like walking into battle, walking into war, knowing you're gonna subject yourself to pain and self-inflicted torture. And I just learned to love it. So my intensity in the gym got harder. Everything just got better when it comes to the gym. So here's what I'll say about this system, because it's literally what allowed me to completely transform my body. But not only that, every year since then, my results have gotten better and better and better. So at 41 years old, I still feel absolutely phenomenal. So if you got some value from this video, consider hitting the subscribe button. And if you're struggling, staying motivated, going to the gym, I think this video will resonate with you.